recording now. Recording is in progress or progress. Great. So I'm going to do a little bit of talking at the beginning. So if you could have your mic on mute unless you're going to say something, then that would be great, just to stop interference. And if you didn't hear me say, if you can put your organisation name in your organisation, if you're from an organisation, if you could put your organisation name in your name on Zoom, then that's great, so people can see who's here. Right, that's it really. So thank you so much everybody for coming. It is lunchtime, I'm aware of that, so thank you extra for coming during lunchtime. It's really lovely to see so many of you here who kind of live or work or just care about Westbourne, and it's really nice that you were excited or interested or intrigued enough about the idea of Green Westbourne to come to this meeting, which I think is a good sign. So our hope is that by the end of the meeting you'll feel excited like we are about it. So yes. We're going to find out lots about Green Westbourne today, but I kind of hopefully the thing that will come across most, and I guess why I'm doing this before I share my screen, is that mostly it's a partnership between people who care about Westbourne, and so everybody in this room, not a real room, a virtual room, and so this is the beginnings of that partnership. So it's really lovely to see you all here, and yeah, I hope you enjoy today. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully that's sharing of slides for everybody. Good, okay, great. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tell you about Green Westbourne and where we've kind of got to with the project so far. That's including kind of its background, its aims, kind of what we're trying to achieve and what it is. Then we're going to do a little bit of an exercise where we think about what a Green Westbourne might look like in 5 years. And then we're going to have a bit of a talk about next steps for Green Westbourne, and then we're going to end up today's session with some breakout rooms that are themed around some of the kind of main themes, so things like wildlife or food growing or children and young people. So you can choose which breakout room you're going to go into and have some really nice chats with other people who are generally excited about the same things that you're excited about. So that's the plan for today. I know kind of some people have to pop in and out, and that's fine. I will be sharing the slides with people afterwards, and yeah, so that's that. Right, so I think that's it. We can get going, and we will be finished by 2:15. So what is Green Westbourne? So Green Westbourne aims to make life better for people in Westbourne by making the area greener, healthier and wilder, and by improving access to green jobs. The background to Green Westbourne, it started off in summer 2019. So in summer 2019, London was made the world's first national park city, which is very exciting. It's a bit of an experiment, and it's all aimed at making London greener, healthier and wilder. London National Park City is a partnership that brings together businesses, residents, organisations, local authorities, anybody who's interested in making London greener, healthier and wilder, to work together. And it celebrates the wildlife and the green spaces that we have in London. We're almost 50% green spaces in London, and also explores how, when we live in cities, can we keep that connection to nature that's so essential, and how can we use our green spaces and the outdoors to support our health and well-being, and kind of just make London in general a lovely place to live and work. So last summer I became a volunteer National Park City Ranger. So in my job, I work for Paddington Development Trust, and I manage the Champions programme. But last summer I took on a voluntary role with National Park City as a ranger. So there's 100 rangers across London, and they're all volunteers interested in wildlife and greening in different ways, outdoors, green spaces, and they're all working on projects to help make London greener, healthier and wilder. So as soon as I heard about London National Park City, I started thinking about Westbourne, because Westbourne has the most amazing amount of green space in it, and the canal going right through it, and a whole load of amazing residents and organisations who work so well together. And I thought, wouldn't that be a lovely place to put the greener, healthier and wilder aims of the National Park City, into action and see what impact that has for people who live and work in Westbourne. So after I became a ranger, I started chatting to people about it, and that included the Westbourne Forum, and luckily the Westbourne Forum liked the idea, and kind of together we've kind of developed it into a bit of a project plan. And Jeff's here from the Westbourne Forum. Jeff, did you want to say a little bit about the forum and why you kind of supported the idea of Green Westbourne?
Yeah, happy to do that. The forum, I guess, similar to London National Park City, draws together people from across the ward, and businesses, statutory organisations, voluntary organisations, and most importantly residents, together to make Westbourne a better place to live in, and a stronger community. So as soon as we were aware of this project, we really were keen to be involved, and it's a real privilege that Lizzie is so passionate about it and does this role as a volunteer, and I think that's quite inspirational in itself. And as Lizzie says, Westbourne has a lot of green spaces, but one of its issues is people just sort of don't know where Westbourne is and get confused between the wards and all the different places that are associated, and you have the word Westbourne in it. So in some senses, this gives us an opportunity to help develop its identity, to bring resources together, and for organisations to work together. So yeah, we're really on board with it and want to support it as much as we can.
Wonderful, thanks, Jeff. So that's great. So and so the other kind of piece in the puzzle of the background is that at the moment Westminster Council got some money from the Good Growth Fund to do some landscaping works alongside the canal in Westbourne, and so we've been working kind of in quite close partnership with them, so that kind of those works can be aligned with the aims of Green Westbourne, and that we can work together a little bit in that, and support kind of as many residents to feed into what that's going to look like as possible, so that it really does meet the needs of local residents and organisations and people who use those spaces. So yes, so that's been also a really nice thing to give the project a little bit of a kickstart, if you like. So we are actually getting some physical changes to Westbourne green spaces right at the beginning of the project. So that's the background. What on earth is it? Green Westbourne is three things. So firstly, it's a shared vision for the future of Westbourne. So at the moment, as it has been for now, it's about making Westbourne greener, healthier and wilder. But as we work together, it's really about defining what that vision, what that shared vision is as a group. And the second thing is a network of residents, organisations and businesses. So we have the beginnings of that network here with 25 people in this room who are all interested in some way of making Westbourne greener, because you're in the meeting. And so it's about bringing together things that are already going on, so that we can learn and share with each other. It's about getting excited about new project ideas together and looking at how we can collaborate. And it's about kind of learning together from other projects that are outside the area. And bringing in skills and knowledge and things like that. So the second thing it is a network, which I think is the most exciting thing. And then from that vision and from that network, hopefully will come a series of projects and initiatives. And really what that is kind of depends on the people in this room and other people who want to get involved. But it could include landscaping, wilding and greening works, food growing and permaculture and hydroponics, training for residents, volunteering opportunities for residents, more opportunities to be active outdoors in different ways, nature connection activities, projects for schools and young people, and green enterprise and employment schemes. So it is a broad and it is an ambitious project, and it's ambitious for Westbourne, and it's kind of built on everybody working together. I just thought it was worth kind of touching on what Jeff said there. When we talk about Westbourne, obviously with the name Green Westbourne, it immediately makes you think of Westbourne Green. But when we're talking about Green Westbourne, we're really talking about the whole of Westbourne Ward. So obviously that includes Westbourne Green through the middle, but it also includes, you know, kind of the Amberley, the Brindley, Brunel, kind of Warwick Estate and everything else in between. And also it's not just about the built environment, it's not just about the parks, the buildings, the roads, it's also about the people, it's about our minds, it's about how connected people feel to nature, it's about people's mental health, it's about, you know, how people think about their area and themselves, and how kind of nature and the outdoors plays a part in their lives. So kind of when we're talking about Westbourne, we're really thinking about the whole of Westbourne. The impact of Green Westbourne that we hope it's going to achieve. So improved health and well-being. I mean, everything about being outdoors, about connecting with nature, about connecting with green spaces and wildlife is just good for you. It's good for your brain and it's good for your body. And so, you know, and I think we've really seen that through some of the pilot projects that we've been running over the last year. Kind of beyond the immediate benefits, then, you know, a lot of the projects are going to encourage people to be more active, be active outside, get people greater access to healthy and low cost food. We hope that residents are going to have a stronger connection to nature, and I guess that's also exploring an answer to that question is how, when, you know, 70% of the world's population are going to be living in urban spaces, how do we find a way for people to have a connection with nature when they do live in the middle of a city? Residents are going to have greater access to green employment and enterprise opportunities, whether that's putting a solar panel on top of somebody's house, or kind of being involved with a hydroponics project, or training to run a community garden, or setting up a business making planters. But you know, that we're really kind of linking people into the opportunities and training kind of right from school level that they need to get into those industries. We're hoping it's going to increase biodiversity, and we do have Tom from the Natural History Museum here with us today. So and also improve air and water quality, and increase resilience to climate related changes. I mean, one of the biggest things is, as you know, things are getting hotter. Can't tell that at the moment it's not getting hotter, but you know, it is getting hotter, and summer's getting hotter, and having access to really good quality green space is a really essential part of people getting through hot summers, and that's just kind of one element of that. So, you know, kind of this is what we hope that this project's the impact it's gonna have. What has happened so far? So we were hoping to have this meeting this time last year, but something obvious got in the way of that, and delayed things a little bit. But what we've been doing is we've over the last year been trying to put whatever we can in place, kind of whilst dealing with what everyone's been dealing with in terms of the pandemic. So we've been working, as Jeff said, with the Westbourne Forum, and kind of putting together and agreeing a kind of a draft project plan, which has also been agreed by Westminster Council, and that's up on the website, but happy to share it with anybody. And it's very much an initial step. We've been starting conversations with help from Sadia from Westbourne Forum and Toyin from Westbourne Forum. We've been starting conversations with anybody and everybody we can. So hopefully a few of those conversations have led people to come today. And we've been running some pilot projects to test out different project ideas, to see kind of how interested residents are, to see kind of what kind of benefits taking parts has for them, so that we can then feed that into kind of wider fundraising and kind of bigger fundraising for bigger projects. So we've been doing weekly nature connection mental health sessions with residents, which has had an amazing impact for the residents that took part during a really tricky time for everybody in terms of health and well-being. We've been working with the Natural History Museum. We had a fun workshop on Zoom during the Easter holidays, where we chose some indicator species, one of which was pigeons and dragonflies and pollinators, and we've got a second workshop next week during the half term with families, where they're going to be teaching us how to measure how many of these things there are in Westbourne. So that's really nice. We've been working with Repowering London, who are doing feasibility studies for solar panels on the Stowe Centre and Westminster Academy. And we've got funding from the Westbourne ward budgets and Westminster Council to do a gardening project, which is really nice in the allotments. So they've been there this morning, hard at work, clearing the land and planting some plants this morning, which is an exciting development. So yeah, so that's kind of what we've been doing so far. So that's brought us up to the present, and now I want to take you onto a journey into the future. So you're welcome to close your eyes if you want to. I'm not into closing my eyes, but if you want to close your eyes and imagine that 5 years has passed. It's May 2026. The pandemic is a distant memory. And you're walking through Westbourne. Maybe you're on the way to drop your kids off at school. Maybe you're on the way to work. Maybe you're walking your dog. Maybe you're coming out of Royal Oak Station. But you're walking through Westbourne, and we've had the Green Westbourne project for 5 years. And I just want you to imagine what is different about your walk through Westbourne, whether you're walking along Harrow Road, you're walking through the Amberley, Brindley. What is different? What are you going to see that's different? And I'm going to share a little polly thing any second now. First, I'm going to share my WhatsApp with everybody. Okay, so we're going to use this Mentimeter. So if you have a phone and you're struggling to use this, then just you can put your thought in the chat. But you should be able to go to the website that's at the top there and enter in the code, and then you should be able to just put anything that you think that you're going to see, and it should appear on the screen. This is my first time using this, so if it doesn't work, we'll just put it in the chat. If you're trying and it's not working, just put it in the chat. Is anybody managing to use it? Is it working? More trees, hooray! Oh wow, it's even got a picture with it. Amazing. So we've got beehives, we've got flowers, green playing spaces, wildlife, more planters, ponds, more birds. Outdoor learning spaces, lovely. People growing food. Planters overflowing, I love that. Less cars, more parks. Wonderful. Wildlife. Children playing. More greenery. Green walls, cycle routes, play area for all ages. Wonderful. Okay, that's great. So I think, you know, this is the beginning of our vision for Green Westbourne, which is really lovely. I just thought it's good, you know, it's just an opportunity to get our heads in what are we actually working towards? What do we actually want to see? What kind of neighbourhood do we want to be living in and working in? We've got a reflective area from Jane, bird feeders from Jamirin, a well-used allotment with lots of vegetables being grown and not pinched. More trees, planters and seasonal flowers. Wonderful. Great. Okay, thank you everybody. I'm going to stop it there if I can work out how. Okay, and we'll go back to the slides. Okay, super. So what's next? We've gone into the past, we've gone into the future. I'm taking us back to the present. What is next? So these are the next steps that we are hoping for Green Westbourne. So after today, we'd like to form a Green Westbourne leadership group. So that's a group that's a bit smaller than the group that's here today, that's made up of at least 50% residents, and that would involve 1 hour a month to kind of really make sure that it's residents, local organisations that are in the driving seat, but not driving, maybe in the cycling seat of this project, or maybe they're driving an electric car, who knows. Anyway, they're in charge. So that's the first thing, is forming a Green Westbourne leadership group. And the second thing is that with that leadership group to agree a shared vision, plan and priorities. And so that's with the input from this wider group, but also kind of based on two things. So there's going to be related to the place shaping works that are happening along the canal side in Westbourne. There's going to be in the next month or so a consultation to see what residents want to see there. And so that consultation hopefully is also going to give us quite a nice insight into, you know, kind of what local residents want in terms of green spaces. And then we can also carry out a bit of a wider survey that's not just focused on that area but next to the canal, but touches more widely on kind of the wider area of Westbourne and the wider kind of themes that we've got. And so based on that and based on residents' feedback, then the leadership group can agree a shared vision, a plan, and then some key priorities to focus on. While that's going on, then we'd like to pilot as many little projects as we can to test some ideas. And so that can be one-off things or kind of, you know, kind of projects that last a couple of months that maybe need a little bit of funding, but just testing out as much as we can, getting as many residents involved and engaging in some different ways. And the idea is that those pilots and the shared vision could then feed into some larger fundraising for some long-term projects. So that's kind of the next steps. In terms of this this group, what we're hoping that you could do is a couple of things. So the first one is spread the word. So if you're excited about the idea of Green Westbourne, tell somebody about it, or tell 10 people about it. Spread the word, get more people involved, so that kind of we can make sure this group is as kind of as buzzing and reflective as Westbourne as we can. The more the merrier with this project, definitely. The second thing is support the surveys and consultations, so we kind of we can really make sure, particularly with the canal side consultation, that sort of we have the route to Westbourne residents, so we can support that consultation to really get out to as many people as possible. Share what you're already doing, so it feels like every person I speak to is already doing something exciting in Westbourne around kind of greening or food growing or wildlife, or so share what you're already doing and what's working and what's not. And then a little bit of a challenge, which is what I really also like about the National Park City, and which I hope is going to kind of come into this, is that really the London National Park City is a little bit of a challenge to every single person that lives in London, to say, okay, well, what can you do? There's so much stuff in life that's outside of our control, but what can you do to make Westbourne greener, healthier and wilder? So if you're an organisation, it might involve a bit of a project, but if you're an individual, it might be just talking to your neighbour about it. It might be getting outside more. It might be doing some litter picks or arranging with some some of your friends to do some exercise in a park. But what can you do to make Westbourne greener, healthier and wilder? And then what we're hoping is that this group is going to meet quarterly, and in these quarterly meetings that we're going to share and review the progress in terms of the vision and the plans and the leadership group. We can share and connect around ideas for projects, and learn from others, so hopefully get some guest speakers in from other exciting projects across London that we can all get inspired by. So yeah, and that's the idea, is that these quarterly meetings can keep the momentum going. So wonderful. So in terms of support available, so kind of as Jeff said, this project's being supported by Westbourne Forum, and we've got a page on their website, which we're going to kind of keep on updating. I'm here as a National Park City Ranger to support the project. It is kind of a voluntary role, so I can't commit like my whole life to it, but I'm definitely here to connect people. So if you're looking for somebody to run a project with, or you're looking for kind of funding or training or resources, then I can help you look for that, and can generally keep the momentum going. And our long-term aim is to have a Green Westbourne project manager who can support this network and the leadership group and focus on promotion and fundraising and supporting projects. So just kind of finally, so the Green Westbourne is not about me as a ranger, and it's not about Westbourne Forum. Green Westbourne is a partnership, and it's about every single one of us working together and doing what we can to make Westbourne greener, healthier and wilder. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, I don't know, I don't think there's anything I can do for Green Westbourne, there is, because everybody can do something. It doesn't matter if it's big or small, everything contributes. Okay, so 25. But anyway, everyone's back here, and thank you so much, and thank you to my note takers who are taking some notes. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed popping in and hearing some interesting and exciting conversations. So yeah, so I'll just finish off a little bit, really, to say kind of in terms of next steps. So firstly, let us know if you'd be interested in being part of the leadership group. So the commitment is 1 hour per month on Zoom, so it's too much. And we do want that to be at least 50% residents. So please do let us know. Let us know if you've got an idea for a project that you'd like to explore, or something that you're already doing that you'd like to share with everybody. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to use the page on Westbourne Forum website to start kind of put some of those up and put up opportunities. And look out for requests to take part in the consultation, and please kind of do share those kind of with people you know or people that you work with, so that we can get as many people feeding into it, particularly that canal side consultation as possible. And kind of tell everybody and anybody about Green Westbourne. And then the final thing is that today's just a start. Today is like a little bit of the beginning of thinking. So just keep on thinking about it over the next, couple of months. Keep on, keep on looking for opportunities, and hopefully this is going to be the start of something green and beautiful. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know,